It's time to start the stream for today. I'm actually starting kind of on time, which is good, I guess, but it's also going to be kind of a shorter stream today because, as you'll see in the instructions for today, today's Friday, September 4th, and my stated plan for today was to actually to use Discord for discussion. So I'm going to be doing that, but I wanted to at least, briefly stream to show you some things here. I think it's useful for me to kind of explain some things this way first, and then we'll get into some things in Discord. So let's see. I thought I would do two things here with the stream, just kind of briefly. First of all, I wanted to demonstrate one of the things I'd like you to look at for homework, because it is a little unusual, and if you just tried it out yourself, you might be confused or weirded out by it. So I'm going to show it to you first, and then you'll have a sense of it from my demonstration, and then you'll hopefully feel more confident, playing with it yourself. So let me. I will show you that this is this thing called Storyface, and then I also wanted to look at some of the Python, the coding stuff, make sure you're understanding what's going on here and what the different prompts and instructions are asking you to do. And I will give you the answer to the error thing from Wednesday. So let's start with Storyface, because I have it up in another browser and the music is playing on repeat and it's getting kind of annoying. I don't know if you hopefully you can't hear it, but it is kind of annoying me. So I'm going to switch that on now. Probably you can hear it now. And this is it. So if you look at, there's a link in the notebook to a place you can download it on the Play Store, but if you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you want to just do it in a web browser, you're welcome to do that too, and that's what I have here. So the way it works, you do have to have a webcam, and I managed to get two webcams working today. I couldn't get these two working earlier, but the idea is that this is a dating app, and as you can see, this is full disclosure here, this is not a real dating app, and I'm not interested in dating anyway. I've fully settled that question, happily married. But this is I want to show you how this works because it's pretty funny. It's pretty interesting. The premise of this is that it's meant to be a dating app, but it uses facial recognition technology and facial tracking technology to help interpret the match, to decide if you're a good match with someone. Interesting how different my face looks on these two different webcams, even though they're pretty much the same angle. Okay, as you can see, it's latching onto my face. I'm trying to look at this camera and not the screen. And it's guessing my age. I feel like I don't know if it's the lighting, but it's not doing me any favors right now. I am not that old. Do I look that old? I don't feel like I look that old. Come on, let's see. Maybe if I change the angle, it'll get a little bit more accurate. Yeah, maybe I'm tired. So I am tired and have allergies going today. So maybe it's reading my eyes. I am not that old, algorithm, but okay, we'll just go with it. And then you pick which gender you're looking to match with, And then now it's going to try to match my facial expression with an emotion. So let's see if I can get happy. You have to hold the expression. There we go. You have to hold the expression long enough for it to complete that. And now it's ready for me to find love. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, so we've got, I guess I don't need my, no, I do, I think I do need my webcam still. Okay, so we've got Alicia. Let's just kind of see who else is here. We've got Lola. We've got Lucy. Wait a minute. Sorry. Chantel. Working Girl. Tana. There are some new people in here that were not here last time I did this. Paula. Sandra. Okay, let's match with Sandra. Let's see how this goes. And you can see how the things that she's interested in here. Let's see how this goes. So the idea is now that it's got me and Sandra matched, and what's going to happen here is I can chat with Sandra, but I have to keep track of my facial expressions, because you'll see if I respond with either of these emotions, I have to make sure that my face truly demonstrates that emotion. So let me try going this way. Okay, so let's see if I can be scared. Nope, didn't get it right. Oh, I did. Good, okay. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to try to get it wrong here. All right, so I got it wrong, and I got a warning. Why do you pretend to be surprised when you're actually sad? 2 more lies, and we'll let Sandra know that you're lying. Okay, I promise I won't lie again. Let's see how this goes. How much did I reveal of myself? Better luck if you're honest. But I am honest. Why do you say that? Oh man. Okay. I don't think this is going well. Try to create a curiosity gap, but my life's boring. Do online dating websites work? You won't know until you give it a shot. Just relax and enjoy it. Oh, I got it wrong. Oh, hey, but Sandra still wants to know my phone number. This is not really my phone number. There we go. Okay, and now so you left the chat. Okay, so somebody in Twitch chat, you came in late, so you're confused about what's happening. So let me explain what just happened. I'm in multiple cameras here. I'm demonstrating this website and app called Storyface, and this is your homework to play with this sometime this weekend. And I wanted to demonstrate it to illustrate to you that it is not as weird as it sounds. I mean, it is weird. It will seem weird when you're doing it, but it is not real. You are not actually chatting with people. The point of this is not to actually work, but to demonstrate how something like this kind of has problems built into the assumptions. It's meant as a piece of satirical literature, really, but it's a app. It mimics a dating app. So I would like for you to try it out and see how it goes, and just basically have fun with it and play with it. So I wanted to show you that it's okay to have fun and play with this. You're not actually sending your phone number through this. I mean, you shouldn't, but it's not actually collecting any data. It's creating an interactive experience for you. So, so check that out. There's a link in the notebook for today, and then for the notebook that we're working on right now. So, let me see. I guess I can put this down now, and I'll show you that once I can hide this one. Okay, good. So it's linked here, so you can download it from the Play Store. You can also look at it in a web browser like I just did. You just have to activate the webcam, and then you can play with it that way. I thought it was appropriate because it does use an algorithm, facial recognition, and it also is about dating, kind of, which is what the episode of Black Mirror was about, which we'll be talking about shortly. So the other thing I wanted to show you while I'm here and I'm streaming, and then I will breaking off the stream, is a couple things. So I wanted to show you, kind of talk through some of the code stuff just to make sure that it's making sense. And I'll start by answering the question you may have had. Hopefully some of you did figure this out, but I wanted to show you what happens and how to solve the error. Where am I? that I gave you the other day. There it is. So this is the cell that will produce an error, right? So let me go ahead and produce it. And I will go ahead and give you the answer and explain it once it connects and runs. Okay. So what's happening here, if you remember, the plus sign is polymorphic, meaning it can work differently depending on the context. And in this case, it's confused because it doesn't understand the context. If it's an integer and an integer, plus sign means just addition. If it's a string and a string, it means concatenation. If it's a string and an integer, it doesn't know which to do. It can't do both at the same time. The plus sign can't do both at the same time. So it's confused here, and so that's why it's saying must be string, not integer. The first one was a string, so it expected the second one to be a string. If we reverse those, it would probably say must be int, not string. So what we have to do, and if we wanted to actually print this, so we're wanting this to print the phrase, the score is 0 at this point. That's what we would expect it to do. And here we would want to have it print now the score is 50. Hopefully that's what we'll see if we get that. I do find it helpful, by the way, to narrate that kind of thing sometimes, like what you expect to happen before you run some code, and then that way when you see the result, you'll know, you'll kind of know how to start debugging it if it doesn't give you what you expected, or you'll kind of have confirmation that it actually did what you expected, and that's good. I mean, learning how to program really is developing that internal sense of what's going to happen as you type certain things, so that you can use that internal sense of how the code will work or is working to plan out and write your own code. So Aaron Adele, hopefully that explanation of Storyface made sense, by the way. So, but for this case, we've got to figure out how to make this a string. And what you maybe figured out, hopefully, is there are some nice little functions built in to Python, which will allow us to will allow us to transform things on the fly. So the string function, the int function, will transform the thing that we're trying to convert. It will convert the thing we're trying to print so that it can concatenate accordingly. Hopefully, let's find out. Let's just fix one of them and see if it works, and then if it does, then we'll feel good about it. Okay, it worked. So notice that the first one worked, score is 0, but the second one didn't because I haven't fixed it yet. And that just confirms that our fix actually fixed it. Like the fix in this case, adding the string function, worked that way. Now we could, we could try passing the score is and now the score is to the int function, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't result in anything because those are not naturally numbers. There's no reliable path that Python can use to convert these letters into some number, so it wouldn't do that. I'm actually not sure what would happen. You know what, let's find out. I don't know. Sometimes it's fun to see what's going to happen. So what would happen if we made both of these integers? I bet we'll get a different kind of error. Yeah, so invalid literal for int with base 10. So basically it was like, I don't know what that is. I can't turn that into a number. But if you gave it a string that was a number, like 100, then it would work. It's just now that, you know, it's not printing what we wanted it to anymore. Okay, so I'm going to rewind these things, and hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you found that, and either through Stack Overflow or asking someone or just thinking about it, whatever you did, I'd like for you to explain how you found your solution. And I see Alex just asked the question, what if that is not what we did? In other words, what if you solved the error through some other method? That's great. You know, if you got it to print and you did something, you did something to make it work, that's great. In code, lots of times there are multiple ways to do something. So if you found a way that's different than what I just did, then great. If it gives you if it prints out the score is whatever, then you are successful. So yeah, just explain how you figured that out, how you came to that. Was it through trial and error? Was it through looking it up? And if you looked it up, where did you look it up? And write that in the cell down here. I want to see these answers when I look at these eventually. Okay, so that was from Wednesday's code. This is now, or that was actually from Monday's code. Now this is Wednesday's code practice, right? So yeah, Wednesday, sorry, I keep scrolling up and down. In this case, mainly wanted to get across the idea of groups of data. So we know that now we have integers, we have strings, we have floats. These are different kinds of data. There are more, but those are 3 important ones. And those types of data can be grouped together in different ways into different types of data. And so a group of data is going to be called different things too. So there's different kinds of groups. A list is one kind of group, a dictionary is another kind of group, and they have different properties, different values. lists are actually really good. And so instead of sort of writing out my own thing, I actually thought it was useful just to link to W3 Schools, because W3 Schools, as usual, has a very straightforward breakdown of what lists are. And they also talk here about slicing lists, which is something I don't really demonstrate in the notebook. So definitely check it out. And like you see here with W3 Schools, it's got a nice try it out editor where you can play around with an example. And it doesn't save it or anything, it lets you try it out to make sure you understand it. So I definitely recommend doing that to make sure you really get what is happening with strings. With lists. Lists can contain strings, they can contain integers, they can contain other lists, they can contain dictionaries. Lists can contain anything. You have to make sure to, sometimes they have to be written slightly differently if they hold different data types in them. Okay, so sometimes now you, instead of having a list where each element in the list is just has a position, and that's how you reference that particular element, sometimes you want to name different pieces of your clump. You want to have a group of data together, but you want to have the different parts of that have special labels so that you can access just one of those parts by name later on. And I like the name dictionary for that. Other languages call this kind of thing an associative array or a hash. But in Python, we call these dictionaries, and I think that's pretty good because it's intuitive. It's basically a word and then the definition of that word in this particular context. So health, in this little dictionary setup, health is 100, charisma is 50. So think of it like you would look up a word in a dictionary and then you would see what that word equates to in the definition. Here we've got charisma 50, strength 89, stealth 2. Now you'll notice that there is some very specific syntax you have to use. There are quote marks around the names of the values. There's a colon separating the name and the value. The values are here. The values are all, each of these pairs is separated by commas. So you do have to memorize that structure, but it's a very common kind of structure. It's very similar to the syntax you would see in CSS, for example. So it's something that hopefully you've seen before or are okay with seeing multiple times, because it's pretty common. This like name colon value structure, right? So and always, if you need to remember how dictionaries work, you have this notebook and you can just go back here and copy and paste this or refer to this if you need to. And again, W3 Schools does have great explanations of dictionaries as well as lists. So basically, in this case, I'd like for you just to work with this example dictionary, and if you really want to try to play with it, maybe add some different property value pairs, some different entries in the dictionary for player, just to make sure you get the concept. That would be a good way to do that. Okay, then for today, we are taking this up a notch by adding in functions. So we've just been talking about data so far and really aren't doing much with that data. Now functions are when we actually start doing work, and so this is going to be fun. I've got a sample function here that just returns the whichever the largest of the two numbers is. Very simple, and actually the kind of thing you might find yourself needing to do sometimes. And the rule of thumb is if you ever find yourself writing code to do something twice, and you should instead write one function that just does that thing and then refer to that function twice. And that's the demonstration of the axiom that good programming is lazy. In other words, you want to write as little as possible. Okay, so here's a moment where we're trying this out, and this is back to that method I mentioned earlier. It's useful sometimes to, before you run some code, think for a moment about what you expect to happen, and then I'm actually prompting you. I'm giving you a place here to write it. Actually type out, what do you think is about to happen whenever you run this cell? You should be able to see this here. You've got the print function, which we've already had experience with now. We're assigning a value to whatever happens when this function runs. So what do you think is going to happen? And then you can write your answer here if something happened differently or if it didn't work or whatever. Like document your discoveries here, or your confirmation if it actually turned out to work. Okay, then finally, this is, I'm giving you a sample, like the starting point of an exploratory project. So I've given you 3 different characters here, or three dictionaries for 3 characters from that episode, Hang the DJ, Amy, Frank, and Nicola. And I've given them a couple of just very basic attributes. What I'm asking you to do here is add more to these, because if you watch the episode, you know more about these characters than these 2 factors. So what other factors do you know about them? What value do those factors deserve? Give them all of those, and then write some pseudocode that's going to do some kind of matching to determine that actually Amy and Frank need to be together, because that's what the episode tells us. When I say pseudocode does not have to look good or make sense. It's just kind of a step-by-step process that you're describing narratively even to say, this is what I think my function needs to do. Don't worry about it being actual code. In fact, this isn't a code cell, this is a text cell. So write in it, just like a step-by-step algorithm for comparing the values that you think are important. So it might be something like, if the difference between their humor levels is very high, that would be a bad match. Or if they're different, but if the I'm speculating here, but like if, let's say, their intimacy need was the same, that would outweigh the humor being different. And you'll have to write out different factors based on whichever attributes you give them. So this is a bit of speculation, a bit of kind of almost creative writing to try to come up with an explanation of how you could use code to equate two people or show that they are compatible. And I think what you'll find is that it's hard. Okay, so this is the code to work on after class today. Also, you should take a look at the Storyface app to play around with and understand that. You know, it's just kind of a weird thing. And then for class on Monday, we're going to talk a bit more about algorithms, specifically in a market kind of context. So here's an episode. It's a short film. It's like 5 minutes long, called Merger. It is a 360 thing. So when you watch it here, actually, I don't know if it'll play, but let me show you what you can do with it. It might play in here through OBS, or it might not. Okay, it looks like it kind of is. Yeah, so there we go. So it's 360, so you can click and drag and look around. So some people don't realize that when they first watch it, that it actually does have the ability for you to choose what you're looking at as you watch it. You can even pause it and move it around like that. It's nice. There's a little headline, why Alexa must be the first AI president. Kind of gives you a hint about what this is about. So check it out, it's pretty cool. And then there's an episode of the Radiolab podcast called The $1 Million Microsecond, talking about how algorithms are affecting financial markets. So check that out, pretty interesting. Okay, and I will live stream again on Monday, a full-length one, and so tune in then. But I am going to be wrapping up the stream right now. Sorry, I'm clicking through so many tabs, because I would like to have a conversation just in Discord, so just through text. And I'm partly because I'm kind of tired of talking, but also I want to experiment with different modes. So here's what we'll do. I am going to go into Discord now. Let me see. I'm not going to pull Discord up, but I am going to go into Discord. We have 4 breakout rooms. I'm just going to use the 4 breakout rooms like I've done before. I'm going to pose a different question in each breakout room. Also, at the same time, I am going to create and I'm going to join the voice channel, the general voice channel in Discord. If you would like to chime in and discuss things that way, you're welcome to as well. All right, so that one will be a little bit more informal because there won't be the ability for me to put like a single question there. But for the breakouts 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to put a different question in each of those and just invite you to jump in with your thoughts. We'll go for however much time we have left in the period, which is about 30 minutes to go, I think, right? Is that right? Yeah, about 30 minutes to go. So that will be the rest of our classes discussing the episode Hang the DJ. I can also, I don't know, in the general chat, I think in the voice channel, I can show clips if we need to, so we'll try to manage it that way. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up the stream then. I will see you in Discord, so yeah, thanks for watching this. If you have questions or anything, let me know. See you online.